I'm the bozo that went and voted yesterday.
Yesterday was a primary day?
Really?
Yeah.
Clinton versus Trump already?
I was the only person in the place.
I didn't realize we were doing another primary.
The primary yesterday. I didn't know who was
for local elections mostly.
It was just Cicilline and that wacko Young.
Okay.
I should say those wackos, Cicilline and Young.
Right.
And then two people in my town were unopposed. So it was perfect.
God.
I didn't vote in Cicilline and Young. I don't want either of them.
Yeah.
And then the other two were
unopposed,
running against nobody.
You're kind of going through the motions.
Talk about a guy who's got some time on his hands.
Wow. You did your patriotic duty.
I walk into the Rumford Towers. I'm in East Province. That's where I vote. And I go in there and don't have your name on the list. Oh, you're over at Myron Francis, which is
okay.
So I always vote here. Yeah, they changed it this year though because there are fewer voting places open because there are going to be fewer voters. And they expect many people to vote.
Sure.
That makes sense. Cut down on the number. But I said, wouldn't you keep the people that were here because this is open here, and then add the people that were from the closed ones?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
rather
here
than moving everybody.
Mine is open, and you moved me to another place.
Now, Rumford Towers, isn't that where Avenue N is?
Yeah, right down
so you're hanging out there anyway, just because of the deli and the restaurant.
I'm 3 years from having a place there. What are you kidding
So
me?
you didn't really go to vote, is what I'm saying.
Checking it out.
I voted, and I got a salmon sandwich.
And a lesson on jerry-rigging in East Providence.
So they tell you where... I didn't get anything in the mail or anything. What? She said, they put it in the Providence Journal last week. I said, the last time I read the Providence Journal, the headline was Nixon resigns.
Paul and Al, mornings on 94 HJY.
Jen, you came whining about something this morning. Because you're very healthy. What do you do every morning?
I like to be healthy.
Yeah.
I drink the apple cider vinegar.
Ooh.
But it's tough.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
And what is it? What is supposed to do?
I tried it from the other end one time. It burns a little bit, I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they say it detoxifies stuff, and I have many years of...
toxification.
Yeah.
A whole lot of buildup. Well, the studies that say it's good for you, those were actually funded by the apple cider vinegar industry.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful lobby.
Why don't you find out that it's not good for you and I can stop doing this?
Well, why don't you just make salad dressing out of it, and then at least you can tolerate it.
You're supposed to drink it with warm water on an empty stomach.
No, I can tell you right now, that's a bunch of hooey.
What were you saying about the sugar?
Of course, that comes from the hooey contingent, by the way.
Yeah, no, did you hear about this? In the 60s, they were funding all of these studies about how sugar is not, it's not food that you need to worry about. It's diet, it's exercise, and if you're not exercising, that's why you're fat, not because of the 6 cans of Coke that you're drinking.
And of course, our epidemic of diabetes says thank you, sugar lobby.
Paul and Al, mornings on 94 HJY.
Week from Joseph. What is Hillary Clinton's favorite pizza? Little Caesars. Caesars. Todd writes this one. It takes a village to get Hillary into a van. The woman next to me on this roller coaster won't stop screaming. It's like she's never seen a penis before. Jim Short's very favorite joke of the morning. What do you call a gay dinosaur? And the standard answer is a Megasaurus. Megasaurus, right? Okay. And then he goes, well, what do you call 2 gay dinosaurs? And his answer, Jim Short's?
Paul and Al.
HJY, hi.
Hey, there was this husband and wife, and they were kayaking out there by Point Judith, and the wife tips over, and she falls out of her kayak. So her husband tries to find her, and he can't find her, so he calls search and rescue. So they searched all night for her. They couldn't find her. They told the husband to go home. They'd contact him in the morning. Search and rescue shows up at his house the next morning and knocks on the door, and the husband comes to the door, and he says, did you find my wife? And the guy says, yes, we did. We found her at about 4 or 5 feet of water in the rocks off of Point Judith, and we have bad news, we have good news, and we have good news. So the guy says, well, what's the bad news? He says, well, your wife drowned and she passed away. He says, well, what's the good news?
What's the good news? We pulled up 7 crabs and 3 lobsters attached to her. He goes, what?
Awesome.
What's the good news? Go ahead and give it to her.
We're going to pull her up again tomorrow.
Yeah, we threw her back in. All right, see ya.
Thanks.
Stump the DJ. Go ahead.
And why do women have pubic hair?
Why do women have pubic hair? To hide the hook.
Very good.
Right. Stump the DJ.
Okay, what do a man with a shotgun to his head and a UPS driver have in common?
A guy with a shotgun to his head and a UPS driver, they both have brown pants.
Damn. Okay.
Stump the DJ.
Yeah, what's an atheist's biggest problem?
An atheist's biggest problem is what the heck to scream while you're having sex.
One of these days. One of these days.
All right, so we have to name a winner for Stump the DJ, and I'm just basing this on the reaction of you guys in the room for this particular joke from Todd. One explanation for the gender wage gap is that men typically gravitate toward higher-paying jobs like doctor, engineer, CEO, while women tend to gravitate toward lower-paying jobs like female doctor, female engineer, and female CEO.
Paul and Al, mornings on 94 HJY.
Rock and roll, 94 HJY. Well, really a bad weekend for Hillary Clinton, right? I mean, man, they had a 9/11 memorial ceremony. She started feeling dizzy, apparently fainted. They took her to Chelsea's apartment to sort of see what's going on with her health and all that. Yeah, and I guess the doctors say she's on antibiotics and she's fighting pneumonia. But I don't know if that explains the cough. You know, that nagging cough she's had?
She did have a bad cough.
There's got to be something else going on.
Hey, Hillary, what's up?
I want marijuana.
Yeah, sure, man. How much you want to try?
I will do a lot using the right amount of the right kind of marijuana.
Yeah, go ahead. Take a hit off this bong.
Excuse me.
Dude, are you okay?
Yeah. Let me grab. You lost it.
Jeez, Hillary. Me and my best customer never had no problem smoking this exact same stuff. Ain't that right, man?
I didn't like it and didn't inhale and never tried it again.
Paul and Al, mornings on 94 HJY.
Okay, Jen, we know that you are far from the average woman.
Oh, am I?
But,
come on.
Right? But do you consider yourself an average woman?
I'm trying.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it says here the average woman has sent nude photos to 7 people.
Incorrect. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Incorrect. Twice in my life.
Wow, twice.
And I appreciate both of them.
Yeah,
well, one of them was back in the day before cell phones with like Polaroids.
Oh,
and I
wow.
still have no idea where they are.
Yeah. Well, according to a new survey, the average woman has sent nude photos to 7 people. 1 in 4 of them have sent nude photos to somebody they met online before they even met them in person.
No. No.
And 2/3 of the women say they never even wound up getting together with a person in the first place.
They weren't happy with them.
And now, apparently, this is the other part that I find really interesting. They say that most of the women are not worried about where the photos end up, who sees them, or anything.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? I was like 19 when I took those Polaroids, and I'm still to this day concerned about where they exist. I sent them in the mail.
I think eBay would be the first place to look.
You can bet Al and I will be looking after we get off the air today.
Paul and Al, mornings on 94 HJY.
It's your home of rock and roll, 94 HJY. Well, Steven Tyler did the solo show at PPAC on Saturday night. One of our listeners, a cool guy by the name of Dennis Conti, he's this guy that makes really awesome rock and roll leather cuffs. And I remember with one of the gigs that Paul and I did a while ago, he gave us these 94 HAY leather cuffs.
Cool.
Now, Paul and I are kind of nerdy, so wearing these leather cuffs were, kind of out of place, that kind of thing. But but he got to go backstage and meet Steven Tyler.
Nice.
And apparently he gave Steven Tyler one of these cuffs. Now, for Paul and me, these cuffs go around your wrist. But Steven Tyler, the rumors of Steven Tyler having big junk. In fact, it was Steven Adler of Guns N' Roses who said, quote, after seeing Steven Tyler's rig... Just the fact that you call it a rig, man.
Yeah, that's already.
I'm lucky if I take my clothes off at all after that. So maybe Dennis will be able to tell us whether that bracelet went around his rig or his wrist.
My genitals are too big to measure. Well, I know that it's my junk women treasure.
Sing it, David.
Everything I do backstage gives groupies such pleasure. Getting girls is a real sin. When you have a big tan inch, you can't miss it, babe. I have an enormous thing. Ask any chick I do. I'm bigger than Tommy Lee or Monty Crew. You can't miss it, babe. I have an enormous thing.
Sexy.
Yeah!
Paul and Al.
Most folks just don't seem to have a taste for testicles no more.
On 94 HJY.
So we found out that Lady Gaga is going to be doing a halftime of the Super Bowl. And, I guess it makes sense, but it doesn't make us happy. It's like, where's the AC/DC? Where's the Van Halen? Even Black Sabbath?
No rock and roll, yep.
Well, and it makes sense because guys are going to be there for watching the football game, and then you bring in everybody else with someone like Lady Gaga or Katy Perry or whoever, right?
Right. And Kevin had a chance to actually talk to Lady Gaga.
It's 94 HJY's Kevin. Pleased to be joined by Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
How are you, Lady Gaga?
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. That's a very nice egg you arrived in.
Yes.
Can I get that at Bach Toyota South? Or Now, we've bashed you on the show before. Paul and Al have called you a, quote, totally overexposed Madonna copycat. What 4 words would you use to describe Paul and Al?
Nerdy record collecting DJs.
Well, that sums it up nicely. Now, Jim Shorts doesn't know much about your music or any music, really, but he's influenced by your fashion sense and often wears dresses made out of meat, mostly roast beef. How would you describe Jim Shorts?
A provocative exhibitionist, somebody that does things for attention pretty shamelessly.
And how about me? I've called you a, quote, unoriginal, ugly skank. What 3 words would you use to describe me?
A real asshole.
See, I told you you're unoriginal. Everyone calls me that. All right, now you're scaring me.
Paul and Al. Mornings on 94 HJY.